The Weight of Anger, The Intertwined Lives of the Angry and the Broken. Part 1. Roots of Anger. Chapter 1. Maya's Morning. Maya. The copier jammed again. Maya stood in the cramped faculty lounge, staring at the blinking red light, her hands curled into fists at her sides. She had precisely 3 minutes before her first class, and the handouts she had stayed up printing the night before were trapped somewhere inside the machine, crumpled and useless. It wasn't the copier's fault, of course, but that didn't stop the surge of frustration that shot up her spine, heating her chest like a slow burn. "Are you kidding me?" she muttered under her breath, yanking open the machine's front panel. The paper, jammed in awkward angles, refused to budge. She pulled harder. Nothing. Behind her, Mr. Denton, the physics teacher, cleared his throat. You, need help?" Maya exhaled sharply, forcing herself to smile, though she knew it looked more like a grimace. "Nope, got it." Denton hovered. "You sure? I said I got it." The words came out sharper than she intended. She didn't look at him, didn't want to see the fleeting look of discomfort she knew was there. He hesitated before mumbling, all right, and retreating to the coffee machine. Maya finally yanked the paper free, crumpling it into a ball. The machine whirred back to life as if mocking her, and she had the sudden, irrational urge to kick it. Instead, she gathered the few sheets she had managed to print, clenched her jaw, and stalked out of the lounge. The hallway. 8:07 a.m. The hallways were already chaos. Students loitered by their lockers, shouting over each other, slamming doors. The shrill laughter of teenage girls made Maya's eye twitch. A boy jogged past, nearly knocking her stack of papers from her hands. "Slow down," she snapped. But he was gone, lost in the tide of morning commotion. By the time she reached her classroom, her patience was threadbare. She shoved open the door and was met with exactly what she expected: disarray. A group of boys were tossing a crumpled paper ball back and forth. A girl was painting her nails at her desk. 2 students were locked in an animated discussion over a video game, their voices entirely too loud for 8 in the morning. Maya dropped her papers onto her desk with more force than necessary, the slap of paper against wood echoing. "All right, sit down," she said, her voice carrying the weight of her exhaustion. A few students complied. Others barely noticed. "Now," she said, sharper this time. The class groaned, but the students finally shuffled into their seats. She picked up a marker and turned to the whiteboard, writing out the day's topic: the role of symbolism in modern literature. Behind her, a whisper. Then another. A stifled giggle. She gritted her teeth, spun around. "Do we have a problem?" Silence. Maya set down the marker with deliberate slowness. "No." "Good, because I'd really hate to start my morning by handing out detentions." A boy in the back row, Kamal, smirked. "Damn, Ms. Rivera, who pissed in your coffee today?" A ripple of laughter. Maya felt something snap inside her. Before she could think, before she could stop herself, the words were already leaving her mouth. "Maybe if some of you actually cared about something besides running your mouths, you wouldn't be failing this class." Silence. The smirk vanished from Kamal's face. The students glanced at each other, unsure whether to be amused or uncomfortable. Maya turned back to the board, heart pounding. The staff room, 9:15 a.m. She didn't make it to the end of first period before the guilt started gnawing at her. She sat in the corner of the staff lounge, her untouched coffee cooling in her hands. Across the room, Denton was talking to another teacher, occasionally throwing glances in her direction, probably telling them how she'd snapped at him earlier. Maya sighed and pinched the bridge of her nose. It wasn't Kamal's fault, or Denton's, or the copier's. It was her. She was always angry these days. At everything. At nothing. She wanted to believe it was just the job. Too many ungrateful students, too little pay, too much stress. But deep down, she knew better. The anger had been there long before teaching, before her degree, before she had even understood what it meant to carry resentment like a second skin. Her father's voice echoed in her mind, unbidden. "You always have to fight, don't you?" She clenched her jaw. The door swung open, and Principal Lutz walked in. Maya braced herself. "I just had Kamal's mother on the phone," Lutz said, her tone carefully neutral. "Apparently, he feels your comments were unfair." Maya swallowed. "Right." Lutz studied her for a long moment, then sighed. "Look, I know it's tough. But these kids are going through their own things too. Try not to take the bait." Maya nodded stiffly. "Got it." As Lutz left, she exhaled slowly, staring down at her coffee. She had spent years convincing herself that her anger was justified, that it gave her an edge, that it kept people from pushing her around. But now, all it did was push them away. She wasn't sure if she could change. She wasn't even sure if she wanted to. All she knew was that the weight of it, this constant simmering rage, was exhausting. And yet, when she walked out of the lounge, she still clenched her jaw, still straightened her spine, still carried it with her, like she always did.